Khan, and today is November 1st, and we are 2 days away from the 2020 presidential election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Today's video will be talking about what polls you should trust and what data you should be looking at and what data you should not be looking at, and why certain polls that people are using to prove that Donald Trump may win are wrong, and why 538 is one of the best uh, polls out there. Not the best, but one of the best. So obviously there's some other polls like 538, 272, and all those. But yeah, so let's talk about why 538 is one of the best. Well, one of the major reasons why 538 is a really good poll is it updates every few hours. It updates multiple times within one day. So you don't have to wait like 3 days or 2 days or every 24 hours for it to update it. As you can see, it updated 4 hours ago. Obviously, I'm doing this at like nearly midnight, but during the day it would be constantly updating. Not constantly, but every 2-ish, 4-ish hours. And obviously it weights its polls. It takes every poll and it gathers it and it weights it properly based on how well that poll is, like how many different type of people that they surveyed. So let's say one poll only got white people, but one poll in the same place, like let's say Ohio, got many different races. That would be considered a better poll, and also many other things, education, and yeah. So as you can see, where is it? So yeah, it does go through here, and obviously you can check if you go to 272win.com. It it has the same type of thing. It weights its polls and all that. I mean, let's see when this poll. JHK forecast that gives kind of the same thing, a 10% chance for Donald Trump. So obviously it's not the only thing, and also it does not lean left or lean right or is a far right polling area. It is a moderate polling area that has no bias. It's bipartisan, so it won't be changing the polls or purposely making Donald Trump look bad. Now, yes, they did get the 2016 presidential election wrong, but in 2018 they did get the Senate and the House pretty much correct. Now, obviously, polls are never 100% accurate. Now, I don't think Biden's gonna get near 400. He might, but they're not gonna be 100% accurate. I won't be surprised if he gets 350. But again, it's what the most likeliness is gonna happen. And again, it's all based on if everybody comes out and votes, and obviously 80 million people have voted, so hopefully that stays up. But obviously, we're getting 2 days away, so now we should wait for people to go up to the polls and see how they vote. But again, I don't know how many times I should be repeating this, but polls are polls. They're not the actual election. If you can vote, you should vote. Just because Joe Biden is leading does not mean that Joe Biden will win. This is all based on if you can vote. Obviously, in some places, like in Texas, there's only one voting booth or where you can submit your absentee ballot. Obviously, that does stop, but obviously, I don't think people are going to be submitting their ballots right now because there's only 2 days before the election, so I don't think they will be doing that. But yeah, I mean, again, this is all based on people polls. It's not the actual election. Uh, Also, today, what else I want to talk about was Tralfargor Group and how they aren't a great poll compared to 538 or 270 to win or these multiple other ones. Again, Tralfargor Group is a right wing uh, media polling website. It's not a, what I say, bipartisan poll. It's favoring Trump multiple times. Just because it favored Trump does not mean it's a correct poll. I will be bringing that up how Trafalgar Group uh, favored Trump in 2016 and Trump won. Again, a broken clock is right twice a day. Just because he got it once or twice does not mean he didn't get it again. While 538 in the past has got the election pretty much accurate for the past few elections and midterms. So again, yeah, sometimes it's gonna be wrong, but not all the time. Uh, I mean, okay, and I think one more thing that I do want to talk about is uh, the people's trust in the polls. Obviously, in 2016, everybody thought Trump was going to win because Hillary Clinton had a huge lead right before Election Day. A lot of people thought, hugely, but she was favored in a way. And then she lost. Obviously, people then just did not trust the polls. Obviously, still are doubting it. But one thing that 538 has changed this election is how they weight their polls. One thing 538 is very great at is weighing their polls. And weighing their polls really helps out determining accurate representation of each state or county. If you don't know what it means by weighting uh, their the polls, it's where they take in all these people and then they sort out each person into different categories. They can go in multiple categories, but they want to get an accurate representation. So, for example, let's say there is like 10 white people in their poll, but there's like 90 black people. The white people would be weighted better and would not represent the white community better, while the black people would weight it. They would weight it properly to know how much of an impact that would be on the black community. So if like 90% of the black community is voting for Biden, they'll know how much of the black community in that state, whatever state, is going to vote. While if you have less white people and they're going to vote for Trump or Biden, it will not they will not have an accurate way of representing the white people. So again, uh, less people for a certain category, the less accurate it becomes to represent their community as a whole. Uh, and also, so they changed it. They found a recent study in 2016 or 2017 that most voters that voted for Trump were uneducated or did not go to college. Now, I'm not saying all of them are, most of them. So there were some educated people that educated that voted for Trump, but most of them voted for, most uneducated people voted for Trump. And so they made a whole new category of people and they checked every person that submitted their poll. It's like, who were they educated, as in did they finish high school or finish college, or did they not finish college, or did they not finish or go to college or finish high school? And so they did that and graded that, and so it made a whole different category. So now we can tell that 538 is going to be more accurate. And one last thing, as we are 2 days away from the election, these things get more accurate. The polls get more accurate, as obviously 80 million people have already decided, maybe even more. I can say 100 million people most likely have already decided, maybe even more, I'm not sure. But 80 million people have already voted. So, I mean, again, it's going to get more accurate as they get more people. But other than that, this is pretty much it. I'm not going to get into the polls as right now. All I want to talk about is why 538 is a really great choice. Again, 271 is also a great choice. They take from different A+ polls. 538 predict, Economist Political Insight Elections, Cook Political Report, Zapato's Crystal Ball, and they have their own polling map that they've pulled from, and they take all of that and take an average, which is good. So, again, that's pretty much it. I think tomorrow will be not election, tomorrow will be the last day before election day comes. It'll be one more day. And that one, I will set my personal prediction on the 2020 election. And then also what's most likely going to happen on based on polls. Give you those and what other polls give you, what other like 538 gives and 270, all those other polls give. And yeah, now will be, I think, my last video on 2020 presidential election predictions. After that, I'll be, I don't know, what other things we'll see. Yeah, thank you for watching and stay tuned.